Today we're going to talk about storytelling and its relevance to business leadership, business strategy, all of your communications and all of that. And in my view, your story is not just one of many business tools. It is the engine that drives all business benefits, including strategy, branding, marketing, communications, sales, recruiting, investor relations, if you're in a nonprofit, board relations, volunteer relations. It is the engine that drives all those things. The other thing is what do legendary brands do? What are they doing to attract and retain the most profitable customers for their business? And it's not a secret. There's no magic formula. They tell epic stories that connect with people down deep. They stage their business stories, their brand stories, as if they were Broadway plays or Hollywood blockbusters. That's how much attention they give to this story. Every word, every sound, color, tone, texture, prop, set, costume, light in a movie or on a Broadway play is designed. Nothing is arbitrary or left to chance. So they're digging into the deep minutia of how can we help our audience understand the story that we're telling and the message that we're delivering and connect with it. So color tones matter. And in business, it's like, okay, well, we don't have costumes and props. We have uniforms and resources and tools. Same thing. So we do all these things to help performers perform and connect with their audience in theater, and business does the same thing. But if we're dealing with story, authenticity really matters. It can't be a manipulation that's supported by all kinds of tricks and things to make people think that you're authentic. Your story has to be rooted in a personal truth and a universal truth. Otherwise, we're just manipulating people to buy from us, and none of us are going to survive. We can't sustain our business by churning customers, selling everybody once. All right, let's get on with it. My share, it's not moving, Clay. I'm not sure what to do. Oh, there we go. All right, here's an invitation to everybody. Ask questions as you go. If I can't see the chat, hold on, maybe I can. Yeah, with this big screen, I don't know how to access the chat. But ask questions as you go, and maybe Clay can say, Peter, here's a question for you. I found it in chat, and we'll stop and we'll take care of it, because that's important. This is all about you and what you need, not me and what I'm delivering. There are going to be some exercises, and I'm going to ask you to play along with them. We would like today for you to leave with a rough draft of your story, of an elevated story. So let's start with this. The one thing you need to know about business storytelling, about your brand story: make what you want matter to other people. Make what you want matter to other people. And that may be all you really need to know. You just keep working on that. And let me give you a little example of a fun, easy example of how to get there. So someone says, what do you do? And you tell them what you do. I'm a consultant. I'm a brand story consultant. Does that matter to anybody? No, not really. I'm a brand consultant helping small business compete with global brands. Oh, well, I'm a small business. That matters to me. And you just keep pushing your statement one more time. Why does that matter? And then what happens? What's next? How does that work? So there are a lot of ways. What do you do? Who do you do it for? What's in it for them? How has the world changed when you succeed? So my helping Main Street businesses is good for Main Street. And when that happens, We all win. When Wall Street has record numbers, it doesn't mean anything to me. When Main Street survives and flourishes and everyone is prospering, we all win. So I help small businesses compete. Instead of telling people that I'm a brand storyteller, I tell people that, hey, I'm here to help small business compete with global brands. And when that happens, we all win. We all flourish. Rising tide all ships. There are three legs of a brand story stool. We've just talked about the first one. Why do you matter? Why would what you do matter to anyone else? So besides making money, what do you want? Besides making money, what are you trying to do? Now, I mean, that's very open-ended, and we could say any number of things, and we'll get to a way to simplify that. So besides making money, what do you want? What does the future look like when you get what you want, when you succeed? If you can include that in your storytelling as gently and as possible, you're ahead of the game. What do you want? What does the future look like when you succeed? What worldview or belief system or values are going to get you there? So those are the three legs of a brand story stool. And we are constantly thinking about these things. What do I want changes? It gets more sophisticated, or it gets simpler, or it becomes more elegant, or more profound, or deeper, or more personal. I mean, we can do a lot of work on this. What does the future look like when you succeed really is a vision statement. You're creating a picture.
Not on mute.
Say again? What does the future look like when you succeed is somewhat of a vision statement, which gives your audience context for how to receive the rest of the story. Ah, I get it. What worldview or belief system or values get you there? And if you say quality and service and all of those kind of things, everybody says that. That's not gonna excite anybody. It's a given. And I don't know. We have to try harder. We have to try harder. We have to make it more personalized. All right, setting the stage. Knowing yourself. That could be a lot of therapy. That could be just asking yourself the questions that I'm already posing to you. What do you want? Why does that matter? Why does it matter to you? Why would it matter to me? So you get what you want. What's changed? Am I changed? Is the world changed? You know, where's the problem? Where's the problem? If you can identify the problem, then you have the drama. That is the story. Knowing your customer. What do they want? Why do they want that? What are they looking for to solve that problem? How can you put yourself in front of them? And if you can put yourself in front of them, how will they know that you're the right person to solve their problem or fulfill their want or need? How will they know that in such a crowded, noisy marketplace? How will they know? That's what the rest of this conversation will be about, is how will they know? How will you let them know that you and they are on the same wavelength, believing in the same values, operating from a similar worldview? That's what storytelling gives you. Alignment and a beacon so that people can find you. And when they find you, you know, you want to validate their search so that when they land on your webpage, immediately, because of all the other things I talked about that go into a movie or theater or branding, all of those cues and all of that helping with the production values is helping them feel validated that their search was paid off. Clarifying your story's message, making it as simple as possible on your customer's terms. So you may put those first three bullet points together and have a great story, but maybe we're not great storytellers. So understanding storytelling techniques. There are some simple storytelling techniques that are just, they're going to help you and your customer all arrive at the same conclusion that I have a problem, you have a solution. We have similar values. I trust you. I trust you, which is the BBB's credo, and it's a great one. So you're building trust. Your story is the first step in building all important trust. Know yourself, know your customer, clarify your story's message. Being kind is, be kind. Go for it. Who knows? It's up to you. Here's the second thing you want to know. First thing, make what you want matter to other people. Second thing, know what you're really selling. Know what you're really selling. Why do people buy? We've heard now for decades, 90 people buy emotionally. They don't buy on logic. They use logic to justify their emotional decision. Okay, all right, we get that. So know what you're really selling. If it's emotional, then you got to figure out, well, what does that look like? How long have I been missing the boat on this? It's a great question to know what you're really selling. And what you're really selling isn't, yes, features and benefits are part of the conversation, but relevance, why you matter, comes first. All right. How are we doing so far, everybody? Let Clay know that, thumbs up, something. Am I losing anybody? Am I going too fast? Do you have a question? And if the question is extremely specific to your business, that's fine. Any example is a good one that I can work through.
Yeah, looks like we're doing pretty good. Got a few thumbs up and a few excellents, doing great in the chat. So,
all right, good. What does your customer want? Now, we all want a lot of things, and we're deep, complex human beings. We're very sophisticated in our emotions and our hearts and minds and all of that. But let's keep it really simple. Your customer, or the hero of the story, has basically 4 motivations. I want to be happy. I want to be safe. I want to belong to a community of like-minded people, of like-minded souls. That's when I feel happy and safe. I want to belong to something greater than myself. And the 4th one, I want to achieve. I want to make my mark. I want to put my thumbprint on the world. So if I'm Nike, I'm in the achievement business. People come to me because they too want to achieve something. Our tagline, "Just do it," is not a tagline, it's a driver. Taglines come and go. A driver is forever. Just do it. Be happy. We go to Disney to be happy. We do certain things because it makes us happy. Some people make a cup of tea in the afternoon because it makes them happy for 20 minutes in the middle of a busy day. Some people want to be safe. If I got kids and I got a little bit of money and I'm buying a car, I'm probably going to buy a Volvo, because it's safe. They're not selling performance, they're selling safety. If I want to belong to a community, my God, that could be anything. That could be joining the Better Business Bureau. That could be, Dodo online, pets. It could be the tattoo tribe of the world, belonging to a community could be anything. And the achievement, I'm in the achievement business. You come to me because you want to move to the next level. Now, hero motivate. So think about your business and what do you do? Are you in the make people happy, help people be happy business? Are you keeping people safe and their families and their businesses? Or the country? I mean, is safety what you're offering? Is it a widget and you're not sure? Well, what does the widget do? Well, the widget keeps the airplane from blowing up at 40,000 feet. Okay, great. That's a safety story. That's an engineering story. That's not a widget. I can sell it to you in bulk for a cheap price. No, that's not, no, not when it's saving lives. That's a whole difference. That's a whole, you've elevated the value proposition from a commodity to a lifesaver. What's that worth? What's that worth? So elevating your story, knowing what you're selling, and elevating your story in terms of relevance, why does it matter to other people, are two things that are going to get you a long way. Belong to a community. Your messaging should reflect join. You are welcome. Welcome people. Invite them, seduce them, but you're bringing them in to a surrogate home where they feel valued and safe and can freely express themselves. If that's what you're offering, it's just awesome. All right. This is real. This is not me making stuff up. These are based on archetypes that are universal in their relevance and in their authenticity, or they wouldn't be archetypes. All right. Let's hold on one second. Give me 1 second. I want to go back here one more time. To know what you're really selling. When you buy a car, are you buying a car, or are you buying, depending on the model that you're buying, are you buying ego gratification, or are you buying safety? Or are you buying cargo space? If you join the BBB, the Better Business Bureau, is it a business expense? Or is it a selling opportunity to network, or is it a nurturing learning community as we are demonstrating today? Look at what they do. A lot of education, a lot of nurturing, a lot of learning, a lot of supporting, a lot of advocating, very welcoming, nurturing community. Is what you do an after-school program, or is it a way to raise standardized testing scores? One is a sell to a kid, a high school kid's parents who are scared he's going to get kicked out and they want to get him in some after-school club. The other is now all of a sudden this after-school program is an ally to superintendents and school districts who live and die on standardized test scores. You've elevated the sell, you've elevated the value proposition. So we have an idea of what our relevance is and how we matter. Now let's take that as far forward as we can. You want to pitch your story forward. Some people have, it's a family business. We've been in business for 100 years, for generations. And that's our story. Well, that story that's a biography. You want to pitch your story forward. And this is a great exercise to figure out just what the first draft of that may be. I see a day when business people use storytelling to attract their most natural audience and allies to their cause. I see a day when professionals use storytelling to attract allies to their causes. I'm painting a picture. And when that happens, they fulfill their missions quicker and with more impact. That's what it means to everyone else. Now let me push it one more time. And when that happens, and when they fulfill their missions faster and with more impact, the world is a better place for all of us. That's a story. All I did was fill in the blank and push it twice. I see a day when business people use story to attract allies to their causes, not to make money, to their causes. Money is a byproduct of fulfilling your mission. I see a day when professionals use storytelling to attract allies to their causes. Allies, buying customers, investors, partners. And when that happens, they fulfill their missions quicker and with more impact. This could be for-profit or nonprofit. And when that happens, and I push it one more time, we all thrive. The world is a better place for all of us. I help the world be a better place by making sure that Main Street gets what's theirs. You can say this any number of ways. You can flip it. You can say it backwards, forwards. You can take your time. You can, and you really want to make it when you can't go any further. I pushed mine to where I practically saved the world. I certainly saved Main Street. Why not start there? Why make your audience work so hard to get to the end when you can start there? And I'm going to show you an example of that at the very end. And you will have done some exercises, and you can do it too on your own account. So let's get going there. Well, whose story is it? It's not complicated. There's several stories. The most important story is it's your customer's story is the correct answer to the question. It's their story. You want to tell your story in a way that they can see themselves in it as the protagonist. Now, we have our own internal stories, and they're usually values-based, so that when we welcome people into our tribe, when we hire new people, we tell the story, they're already familiar with it, but we want to reinforce our culture and our belief system and our value system, so that when we make strategic decisions, we're doing it based on values and mission, and not what is expedient in the moment to make a buck. Yes, we want to make a buck. We want to make as many as we can. I'm not taking that away from anybody. That's the point of doing business. I get it. But if you want that to be sustainable and live with yourself day to day and feel like you've really made an impact, well, then be authentic. Whose story is it? Your customers. What does your customer want? And you go back to the four things: safety, happiness, community, make their mark, achievement. Why does that matter to them? Get inside their heads. Talk to them. Ask them. Hire someone else to ask them, so you don't have to deal with any blowback in case they had, an iffy experience. You want the feedback, but, so you hire someone just to ask questions. What does your customer want? Why does that matter to them? What stands in their way of getting what they want? That's where the drama is. That's where you come in. That's the best part of the story. We always, in business, we tend to avoid the conflict because we want everyone to know that there's no problems. We're great. Life is great. We're always doing that. But what stands in the way, the obstacles, are the story. What's different when they overcome the obstacle? If you can tell your story using your customer as the hero or protagonist of the story, and paint a picture of what their life looks like when they get what they want because of you, now you're on the level of global brands and Hollywood blockbusters and Tony Award-winning Broadway plays, because that's what they did. Any questions here? This is key. Whose story is it? Customers. What do they want? They don't want a widget. They don't want a coffee mug. They're buying a coffee mug, but they want the peace and serenity and tranquility that goes with filling it with tea and drinking it for 20 minutes in the middle of a busy afternoon. Okay, we good here?
It's looking good. We got a great statement from Bob. His I see a day when statement is, I see a day when organizations and employees recognize the incredible power of their employees' people skills. It's a great one.
It's a great one, because read it to me one more time.
I see a day when organizations and employees recognize the incredible power of their employees' people skills.
Yes, there are a couple of reasons why that's good, because and if you could push it one more time, And when people recognize, and when people skills come to the fore, there's better communication, there's better problem solving, there's a validation of the honoring of human beings and their communication skills and all of that. Good one. All right. There we are. Customer deep dive. So we're trying to figure out who's your customer, what do they want, why does it matter, what stands in their way. I mean, that's a deep dive if I've ever heard it. So one way to do it is just create an avatar for your ideal customer, or create an avatar for the symbolism of what you're offering, what you're truly selling. Is it happiness? Is it safety? Is it community? Is it making your mark or achievement? I mean, Disney came up with Mickey Mouse. Walt Disney was a bully. He was a controller. He was a visionary. He was obsessed with his vision to make people happy, to create this happiness landscape universe called Disneyland and so on. And he knew that well, one day he's going to die. So as a lasting avatar for the business, that's not going to work. So he came up with Mickey Mouse, who is eternal. Mickey will never die. Mickey will always be young. Mickey will always be charming. Mickey will always be cute. And so, you know, that's an avatar. Storyboard their day. You have an idea of who your customer is, your ideal customer. Storyboard their day. And sometimes, you know, I'll do 3x5 cards and I'll go, breakfast in a hurry. I'm that, you know, they're that kind of person. Drop kids off, you know, you want to storyboard their day. And I'll do cutouts. I'll pull images out of magazines of anything that reminds me of my ideal customer. And I have a bulletin board right there, full of pictures of my ideal customer. You can go to my website and I have middle-aged professional women at the peak of their careers leading. I do a lot of work with nonprofits, and not strangely, but you know, women seem to lead a lot of those organizations. So that's an ideal client for me. I want to make sure when they hit my website that they see themselves right away. Right away. There's no picture of me. I don't matter. They matter. All right. Know your customer, storyboard their day. When does your product or service make an entrance? At what point in their day and their story does your product or service make an entrance? And you want to edit that little piece and put it somewhere else and build around that, and then let the rest of that go. What caused the need for your product or service? There's your story. What caused the need for your product or service? I know you know that, but I'm saying it again, and I have it in red. What caused the need for your product or service? That's the story. How are we doing on time? We're doing all right.
Pretty good, yeah. It's only 9
All right, so I mean, it's corny, but these are avatars. It's easy for me to use cars. So a purpose-driven mid-career professional, Subaru. And you know what Subaru's brand expression is? It's about love. For a long time, it may still be, I don't know, but it was about love. People have a love relationship with their Subaru. I love my Subaru. It saved my life. I've heard that a dozen times, and I'm one of those people that had an accident, and I credit the car for saving my life. Volvo, mid-size cultural and cause-driven nonprofit leader. My business clients are like SUV, all about performance and efficiency and utilitarianism and all that. So I've given car attribute, I've given the attributes of my client to cars that express that. I'm not suggesting that you do it, but find a way to identify and figure out what are the attributes of your best client. This is an exercise. Who is your ideal client? Write that down. I mean, just take a note. Who do you think it is? What's their biggest problem? And here's where the rubber hits the road. How do they feel about that problem? Scared? Worried? Humiliated? Who knows? Go big. Go big. We all feel anxiety, terror. If you're losing sleep at night, you're a business owner or a leader, and you're losing sleep at night, it's not anxiety, it's terror. The stakes are high. How do you help them? What do you do to remove that, to solve that problem? How do they feel about that problem? So for me, my ideal client, let's say that it's a small business and their problem is competing with national brands in the digital realm. And their feelings are fear of failure. I need to be online. I need a presence on Instagram and Facebook and TikTok and just so much to do. Solution: storytelling techniques and proper staging of that story across a variety of integrated media. Proper staging, storytelling techniques. Okay. Well, I'd work this little template on your own behalf. And don't worry about getting it right now, because all of writing, creating this kind of stuff, it's like we're creating a drama. Tennessee Williams rewrote his plays forever. There are a lot of revisions that go into a Broadway play or a blockbuster movie, Hollywood movie. It wasn't the first draft that made it, trust me. Constantly tweaking, constantly. These are the answers, but that's not a story. Those are just individual answers. But how can we, let's go back to the very first slide, which the very first conversation, which was, well, what do you do? And why does it matter? And what happens if you get, we're seeing that again, just a little bit more structured. I give small business leaders the skills and confidence they need to win the battle against national brands by bringing story techniques to their missions and messaging. Okay. I mean, that sounds like an elevator pitch, but it is a draft, a synopsis of the bigger story. What do? I give small business leaders skills and confidence. I'm not leading with, oh, I'm a storyteller and I've done a lot of theater and I get it. Man, I've cracked the code. Nope. I could, and I have. And it was awful. I give small business leaders the skills and confidence to win the battle. When you're winning, you still carry anxiety and the pressure of leadership as a business owner, but it's a whole different kind of anxiety. It's the kind of stress that you chose. We're going to have some kind of stress. We might as well choose it. To win the battle against national brands. Why does it matter? What do I do? Why does that matter? So they can win the battle against national brands. How does it work? by bringing storytelling techniques to their missions and messaging. What happens when you win or they win? You know, when Main Street wins, everybody wins. When Wall Street wins, I'm not so sure. When Main Street wins, everybody wins. This is America. Everybody wins. That's the messaging. Let's just stop for 1 second and check in with each other. I'm ready for questions. We can go back over any of these slides and fill in any gaps that you may have as this takes on its own momentum. Sometimes we can get lost and like, man, I'm still stuck on trying to figure out the avatar, you know, whatever it may be. So if we need to catch up a little bit, this would be a great time.
Nothing in the chat so far, but I'll keep you posted.
Make what you want matter. And you can practice this every day with every elevator pitch, with every conversation. Keep it as casual and loose, low stakes as you can, but just institutionalize, ingrain this idea that your job, the leader, as the principal storyteller, as the de facto author of the story, make what you want matter to other people.
Got a few questions. One of them I can actually answer. We'll be providing a recording of this after the conclusion of the presentation. So copy of the slides, be sort of part of that. And then we got a question from Michael. Any tips on storytelling for a service-based business?
What do you want?
1 second, Peter.
The storage?
Go ahead and mute.
Well, whether it's service, whether it's retail, whether it's, you know, B2C, B2B, that I think the key to brand storytelling when you're in a service capacity, like I am, or an accounting firm or a law firm or, you know, a design firm, is differentiation. Relevance for sure, but differentiation. What makes you uniquely different from all the other accounting firms? We all do valuations, taxes, you know, auditing, but what makes this one firm different? You know, what makes your firm, this particular firm different, you know, and can you pinpoint it? Is it the leadership? Is it the culture? Do you have a specialization? So differentiation, and that's not easy because, again, what do lawyers do? They all do the same things, you know, and what makes one firm's large and national, the other firm's smaller and regional, another one is mom and, you know, two brothers. So how you differentiate is key. Was that a decent answer, or or do you want to ask the question again differently so I approach it differently?
Looks like we got a thank you from that person that asked. If you want to take one more question, I got a one from M. Harris. The question is, what starts off with, they have two different missions. One, they're a children's book writer encouraging children to believe in themselves. Is their message. And second, they are creating a product-based business. I'm sorry. Second, I am creating a product-based business, jewelry and accessories. So as far as the writing goes, how do I keep my writing fun and interesting? That's question one. And second part of the question is, how do I market my products for both businesses?
The second one, how do I market? I'm not going to even try to answer that now. It's too big. And marketing and branding and storytelling, I mean, that's first you got to separate them and figure out, you know, what are the best practices in each, and then you got to blend them together in a way that it's too complicated. if you're selling something that's jewelry, what are you selling? Is it happiness? Is it confidence? Is it, you know, what is it? It seems to be in the pleasure zone, the happy zone to me. So I would focus on that kind of storytelling and creating a tone and an aesthetic and a messaging around the buyer's happiness. You don't buy jewelry because you need it. You buy it because you want it, because you want a certain feeling. Figure out what that is and talk to your customers who are buying from you and ask them why they bought and how it made them feel when they owned it and wore it, and how they, and the difference between what it felt like to want it and to have it. I'd start there. For the other thing, which seemed more like nonprofit kind of thing, who's your audience? Kids. What do you want for them? What do you want them to achieve? What do you offer to make that happen? And to what end? To what end? What happens when you've helped them? What's next? What has changed? Who has changed? Why did that need to change? Those are the questions you want to answer in the formulation of your story. Now, what do all these stories look like on websites and elevator pitches and collateral material and you know, expo tabletop presentations and that kind of thing? Man, those are great. That's a great question, because the staging is all different, but the story remains the same. And it may be in this situation, you're telling the 3-act story. And in this situation, you're only showing the situation. And in this one situation, wow, let's just go to the resolution, you know, and I can't get into I can't teach all that today, but that is a big part of it. What do I do with the story now? I have to stage it on all these different platforms, and each one dictates a certain kind of approach. So that's a whole nother thing. And I think the next offering that the BB has of this nature, this kind of morning learning situation, is in the digital realm. And so I'm sure she'll be terrific. Who do I serve? What do I want for them to achieve? What am I offering to make that so? To what end? What difference did it make? And paint that picture. I hope that was somewhat satisfying. If not, I can take another shot at it.
What do you think? You want to take another question? We got 2 more, it looks like, in the chat.
Sure.
All right, this one's from Dawn. I have 2 avatars. On one hand, my customer is actually my referral source, but we also have homeowners as our customer. Which one do I write my story for?
I don't know, to be honest. I can't make that kind of decision for you. I can give you the tools within this presentation that give you more information to help you make that decision. But yeah, I'm not sure. Ask the question one more time.
So they have 2 avatars. One is their referral source, and the other is so they also have homeowners as their primary customer, it sounds like. Which one would you like, should they start with a story for, is the question, really.
Are the avatars representing the same business?
Don, if you want to chime back in the chat.
If they're representing the same business, I would go with the avatar that reflects your ideal customer best. I mean, if it's a family, show them. If it's a young couple, show them. You know, if it's a bigger family, show them. If it's first-time buyer, then the joy of ownership would be a great story. If it's, I mean, I don't know enough to.
I see. So they Don clarified, they use plumbers to refer homeowners to them for remediation work. So it sounds like she's trying to come up with a story maybe to connect the plumbers with their remediation work.
Yeah, okay. I would need to know more. At the end of the presentation, I invite you to follow up with me one-on-one so that I can have a better understanding. I mean, I hesitate to pretend that I'm small. They're looking for an answer. I need to give them one. No, I don't have one right now.
Yeah.
If we go one-on-one for 15 minutes, I'll help you give yourself the answer.
Yeah, and we'll provide the contact information for you at the end via email. You want to do one more from Beth? One more question, or you want to continue with the presentation? Maybe.
No, I'm happy. No, another question.
Let's do Beth's. This has been great. Here's a little something I came up with during the presentation. It's a work in progress, but a start. At A Better Business Solution, we provide bookkeeping and payroll services. But what we really do is we give peace of mind and freedom to small business owners. We help business owners achieve their financial goals by building out efficient systems for their bookkeeping and working with their tax preparer to maximize their profits. What do you think about that?
I think it's good. It wants to be great, and it could be great. Start over, read it one more time, because right there at the beginning, I caught something that was of interest to me.
All right, at A Better Business Solution, we provide bookkeeping and payroll services. But what we really do is give peace of mind and freedom to small business owners.
Stop. We use bookkeeping services to give business owners peace of mind so that they can fill in the blank. And when they can do that, and then fill in the blank.
That's great.
We use bookkeeping services to help business owners and leaders sleep at night, to free up their minds so that they can, do whatever it is they do. When you read your statements, really pay attention to anything that sounds like, this is what we do. If you read mission statements, it's like, well, you read them and you go, well, that's not a mission. That's just what they do. That's just a description of what you do. So anything that sounds like, well, day to day, these are just the various activities and services that we provide, that's not exciting. You don't have to explain bookkeeping and we get it. You want people to be curious and ask a question. Bookkeeping helps business owners and leaders sleep at night. How do you do that? And who does that, or what does that? Is it the accounting system and the bookkeeping system, or is it the people that are employing the system and working with the owner? So is it accounting you're selling, or is it someone who offers the accounting who also offers the personal interaction and the soft skills to work with people who are under stress? Your selling proposition may be working with small business people who are under stress, right? If that's your story, and helping them sleep at night. Really be as specific as you can, all of you, on who your customer is. And be as specific as you can in your storytelling. The more specific you are, the more universal you are. Man, write that down. The more specific you are, the more universal you are. Think about a movie like Rocky. Raise your hand. How many people care about boxing and just can't wait for the next boxing movie to come out? Probably no one. Well, but not many. How many people, if know Rocky, either they've seen it or they've heard of it and they know the story? Practically everyone. So what is it about a bum from Philadelphia that makes the story interesting? It's very specific. It's rooted in a specific Philadelphia neighborhood, bad neighborhood, low life, very specific. Is it a boxing movie or is it a love story? What made it universal? Not boxing. That was the vehicle to tell the story. What made it universal was the love story with Adrian. What's the last thing he says in the movie out loud? He's screaming her name. That's the movie. The movie was getting us there. So specificity is man, that's it. Next steps. Finish our work. Fill out these templates, work on them, revise them. Take action on them. Try them out as elevator pitches. Talk to your website designers about, yeah, I'm thinking more of, we're in the happiness business. I don't see anything here that makes me happy, or that would make anyone happy, or that would serve as a beacon to attract people who are trying to be happy. Connect with me on LinkedIn. That way we can have conversations, we can share stuff. We're a little bit closer than we are today, because I haven't even seen your faces. And you know, once we're connected a little bit more formally in a business way, then we can, you know, then let's chat. I'll offer anybody that's here today 15 minutes on Zoom, one-on-one, to just go over what we learned today, fill in the blanks for you, and take your rough drafts a little further if we can. If it goes up beyond that, well, that's up to you. And you may need someone else after that, someone expert in the digital realm and in design or soft skills like Bob, or whatever it may be, Bob Graham. It's up to you. That's all I have.